In the heart of Kenya, nestled within the verdant hills and rustling savanna, lay the humble village of Nanyuki. This village was renowned for its adherence to tradition, its warm-hearted people, and the breathtaking beauty of its landscapes. Among its residents was a young girl named Koroto, whose name meant peace and whose presence embodied grace and charm. Koroto's family was poor but proud. Her father, a farmer with weathered hands and a heart, and her mother, a strict yet loving woman, had 3 sons who were fiercely protective of their only sister. Though Koroto had little formal education, she possessed an intelligence and wit that far surpassed her years. Her brothers, Juma, Kamau, and Mwangi, adored her and stood as her guardians against any harm. Despite the hardships of her upbringing, Koroto radiated a beauty that was both physical and spiritual. Her deep, expressive eyes, framed by long lashes, could convey 1,000 emotions. Her radiant smile was a beacon of hope and kindness. Despite their poverty, Koroto's family instilled in her values of humility, respect, and compassion. She was loved and respected by all, a gem in the heart of Nanyuki. Koroto's days were filled with chores and responsibilities. She would rise with the sun, helping her mother prepare breakfast for the family. The mornings were often cool and crisp, with the sound of birds singing in the distance. After breakfast, Koroto would assist her father in the fields, planting and harvesting crops. Her nimble fingers worked swiftly, her mind always sharp and alert. In the afternoons, Koroto would fetch water from the river, a task that took her through the lush countryside. The path to the river was a well-trodden one, lined with tall grasses and vibrant wildflowers. It was a serene journey, one that allowed Koroto moments of reflection and solitude. She cherished these moments, feeling a deep connection to the land and its rhythms. However, not all admiration came from honorable intentions. Many ill-managed men, drawn by her beauty, sought to take advantage of her. But Koroto, with her sharp mind and quick thinking, always managed to elude their advances. She was like the swift wind, impossible to catch and always one step ahead. One day, while fetching water from the river, Koroto noticed a group of strangers entering the village. Among them was a man who stood out, not because of his appearance but because of the aura of authority he carried. Unbeknownst to her, this was Prince Kiano, disguised as a beggar. The prince, weary of the pretentious women in his kingdom, sought a humble and genuine soul to be his bride. Prince Kiano arrived in Nanyuki under the guise of a poor man, wearing tattered clothes and carrying a weary look. He approached villagers for food, but was met with disdain and scorn. The people, wary of strangers, turned him away. Hungry and exhausted, he wandered through the village until he spotted Koroto by the river. Her beauty, even more striking in person, captivated him instantly. Koroto noticed the rugged man from afar and her heart filled with compassion. She could not bear to see anyone suffer. Running back to her father's house, she quickly gathered some food and returned to the riverbank.
"Here, please take this,"
she said softly, offering him a loaf of bread and a bowl of stew.
"You look like you haven't eaten in days."
Kiano, grateful and humbled, accepted the food.
"Thank you,"
he murmured.
"You are very kind."
Koroto smiled warmly.
"It's nothing. Everyone deserves kindness."
Over the following days, Koroto continued to help the stranger, bringing him food and water. Her family, seeing her compassion, also took him in, providing shelter and support. Kiano, though still in disguise, was moved by their generosity and the pure heart of Koroto. However, not everyone was pleased with the stranger's presence. Some villagers, suspicious of his intentions, began to whisper amongst themselves. Tensions rose, and one evening, a group of men confronted Kiano, accusing him of being a spy from a rival village.
"What do you want here?"
one of the men demanded, his voice laced with hostility.
"Why are you lurking around our village?"
Kiano, maintaining his composure, replied calmly.
"I am but a poor traveler seeking shelter and food. I mean no harm."
The men, unconvinced, advanced towards him. Koroto, witnessing the confrontation, stepped forward with her brothers by her side.
Leave him alone.
She cried.
He has done nothing wrong. He is our guest.
Juma, Komao, and Mwangi stood protectively in front of Kiano, their expressions fierce.
Anyone who wants to harm him will have to go through us first.
Juma declared. The men, seeing the determination in the siblings' eyes, backed down reluctantly. But the tension in the air was palpable, and Koroto knew that danger still loomed. One night, as Koroto lay in her bed, she heard a rustling outside. Rising quietly, she peered through the window and saw a group of men approaching her home, carrying torches. Her heart pounded in her chest as she realized they intended to harm Kiano. Without a second thought, Koroto slipped out of the house and ran to Kiano's quarters.
Wake up.
She whispered urgently, shaking him awake.
We must leave, now. Kiano, startled but trusting Koroto, quickly gathered his belongings. The two of them slipped into the night, navigating through the village and into the surrounding forest. They moved swiftly and silently, avoiding detection. As they made their way deeper into the forest, Kiano turned to Koroto.
Why are you doing this? Why risk so much for me?
Koroto looked at him, her eyes filled with determination.
Because it's the right thing to do. You are not just a stranger, you are a person in need, and I will not abandon you.
Their journey through the forest was fraught with danger. They encountered wild animals, treacherous terrain, and the constant threat of being pursued. But through it all, Koroto and Kiano grew closer, their bond strengthening with each passing day. One evening, as they rested by a small stream, Kiano finally revealed his identity.
Koroto.
He began.
There is something you need to know. I am not just a poor traveler. I am Prince Kiano, and I came here in search of a woman with a pure heart. I never expected to find someone like you.
Koroto was stunned, her mind racing with the implications of his words.
A prince?
She whispered.
Why would you disguise yourself and come here?
Kiano sighed.
I wanted to find someone who would love me for who I am and not for my title or wealth. You have shown me kindness and compassion without knowing my true identity. For that, I am eternally grateful.
As they continued their journey, news of the prince's disappearance spread, reaching the ears of his father, the king. A search party was dispatched, and soon they found Koroto and Kiano, bringing them back to the village. The villagers were shocked to learn of Kiano's true identity. The men who had threatened him were filled with remorse and begged for forgiveness. The king, seeing the kindness and bravery of Koroto and her family, decided to honor them.
Koroto,
The king declared.
you and your family have shown great kindness to my son. For this, we bring gifts of gold and riches, a token of our gratitude.
The villagers cheered, their voices rising in joyous celebration. Koroto's family, overwhelmed with emotion, bowed in respect and thanks. Koroto herself was speechless, her heart swelling with a mixture of joy, surprise, and a touch of trepidation. Prince Kiano approached Koroto, taking her hand gently.
Koroto,
He said softly.
you have shown me the true meaning of kindness and humility. Will you honor me by becoming my wife?
Koroto, her eyes glistening with tears of happiness, nodded.
Yes, I will.
The village of Nanyuki erupted in celebration, dancing and singing in honor of the union. Koroto, the girl from a poor home with a heart of gold, had found her destiny. Her beauty and kindness had not only touched the heart of a prince but had also brought prosperity and joy to her beloved village. Thus, Koroto's life transformed in ways she could never have imagined. She moved to the prince's kingdom, where she was welcomed with open arms and treated with the respect and love she had always shown to others. Koroto's humble beginnings and her journey to royalty became a legend in Nanyuki, inspiring generations to come with her tale of kindness, intelligence, and unwavering spirit.